Hello and welcome back to the Linux Panic YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be going over the 5 things that you should be doing after installing any variation of Linux. But first, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Whilst you're at it, maybe consider taking a look at my GitHub sponsors page. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So you're probably wondering, what are some of the things I should be doing after installing any variation of Linux? Well, it's a rather simple list that can help with any installation of any variation of Linux. Now, as you may or may not know, Linux is just the kernel. It's what's put on top of it is what makes it the rest of the operating system. So, for example, Debian, Ubuntu, Mint, Manjaro, Arch, Fedora, every variation of Linux. Linux is just the kernel. What's on top of it makes it the rest of the operating system. So I'm going to be going over five things you should be doing. So the first thing we'll be doing is how to update the system. Now, this may seem like an incredibly obvious one for more advanced or experienced Linux users, but it might not be to people who are just coming into Linux for the first time and wondering, how do I do this? Because if you're coming from Windows or Mac OS, you will just get a, hey look, it's time to update. Do it now, please. So in this case, I'm going to be showing you how it works on a Debian-based system. So what we're going to do is sudo, make sure I'm actually clicked into my window first, sudo apt get update. So whoops, if I typed that correctly. Sudo apt update even. Give it a password. It's going to go through and go, hey look, here's everything. And it's just going to go through the process. For anything that is not Debian based, so for an example of Arch, you use sudo pacman-syyu to update everything. And for Fedora based, it's yum as the main update package. You will have to Google that one because it can be a bit different based off variations. But in this case, it's yum for Fedora based, pacman for Arch based, and apt for Debian based operating systems. So, as you may have heard in the Linux circles, you never need to update. You never need to restart your operating system after an update. Whilst this is technically true, it is advised you still restart anyway, because there are features that needs to have a system restart before you can then continue. In the case of kernel upgrades, most of the features that you'll get from a new kernel upgrade you will need to restart to get access to anyway. So whilst it is technically you could still run your operating system without updating it. You could leave it running for years without updating or restarting. It is advised you restart after an update. Now moving on to step number 2 is how do you install software? Now, most Linux variations these days will come with a package manager of some sort in a form of a software center. So for Ubuntu based ones, we get Ubuntu software. Debian based ones also have their own, same for Mint, same for Arch. Arch based ones have the PAMAC store or PAMAC package manager, which compils packages down from official repositories and the Arch user repository. But in most cases, it's just a quick give it a type and you get what you want. So in this case, I say, oh, I want to install VLC, and just tell it to do it and it does. It's as easy as that. And the wonderful thing about it is there's no strings attached. There's no, oh, you must be signed into this. You must have an account to do that. Oh, you've got to verify with Canonical, the owners of Ubuntu, that you want to actually log in and download things. No, none of that. It's just you tell it you want to install, it does. Now, the same thing applies to the command line. I will install a very widely used and accepted piece of software called NeoFetch. It basically just displays system information and what variation of Linux you're using and the kernel. So in my case, again, I'm using Ubuntu, so we do sudo apt install NeoFetch. It's going to go through and say, hey, look, there's NeoFetch is already installed on the newest version. And it's that easy. You tell it what you want to install and it just installs. There is no bother at all. It's no, please read the EULA, please go through the warranty information, yada yada yada. This is 16 pages of legal technical nonsense, just saying that you understand that if the software bricks your system, we aren't responsible. None of that. It's just installed, and you'll get a manual page that you can just use with extra command line arguments to get to. It's just as easy as that. If you, with a quick Google, you can then go through and just find out how to do it for your specific system. Moving on to step number 3, setting up a firewall. Now, I know this sounds scary because, oh, it's firewall. It's how do you actually do this? Now, for new users of Linux, if you're coming from Windows or Mac OS, you're just used to having it say, hey, look, do you want to let this thing through? We've blocked this for XYZ reason. This is unavailable because of this reason. There's none of that with any form of Linux. It is advised that you get some sort of firewall software and set it up and turn it on, because there are websites out there that will go, I see, I'm going to try and send you spam, and if you don't have a firewall, I'm going to try my hardest to do damage to your computer. Now, this is automatically blocked to some extent with Windows and Mac OS, but in the case of Linux, it's not a guarantee that you are protected because you're using Linux. So in this case, I'm going to do a quick setup and install of UFW, or Universal Firewall. It is a simple set and forget firewall. It does a load. It will do. It is a firewall. It does what you'd expect a firewall to do, and it does it without interrupting you either. So what we're going to do in the case of Ubuntu, it's just sudo apt install UFW, and as we can see, UFW is set to manual install. So we're going to do sudo UFW status verbose just to check to see it's working. As we can see here, it is installed, but it's currently inactive. So what we're going to do is we're going to enable it, sudo UFW enable, and it's set to active and enabled on system startup. And what we're going to now do is just say, oh, I don't know, let's just block incoming traffic from port 65565. So we'll do sudo UFW deny 65565. As it says bad port, so just do 25565. And there we go. Rule added, it'll block anything from that port. So to check it, we want to do, I've just got to double check, because it's been a while since I've used UFW myself. So I have to check every now and then, check a manual every now and then. So we want to do sudo UFW app list. It's just saying, hey, look, here's the available applications. And then we're going to do sudo UFW status. And as we can see here, it's blocking 25565. It's denying it any traffic to that port from anywhere. Of course, it is just set as forget. So it's just sudo systemctl UFW status. UFW. As we can see here, it is currently running. It is active, and it's started and it's set all the firewall rules, and it's running without any bothers at all. So this is just a set and forget. It will work straight from the get-go with no bother or any hassle at all. Now, there are other options you can use. In the case of Linux, there is a thing called Pi-hole, which is a piece of software that was developed by someone to block a whole load of advertisers and also spammy websites from getting through. It's just it serves as a DNS server and a DHCP server. It's a piece of software that runs to block ads and, as previously mentioned, spammy content. So you could also run that, and I will stick a card to that in the top right hand corner of the video over here. You should see that appear right now. And you can just watch that and go over how to do that and go from there. Moving on to step number 4, setting up a backup protocol. Now, there have been many times that I have done something on a variation of Linux that has just caused it to break and just screw everything up. That would have been the perfect time to have backup. I don't usually run backups, which can be a problem. I as a avid IT user myself, I should be following the 1, 2, 3 backup rule, but I don't. So what I'm going to instill on you is make sure you get backup set up. A good chunk of Linux variations will have some sort of backup tool. For Ubuntu and Debian based, they do have their own backup tool. It is backups. You just click create first backup, folders to backup to there, just forward, and you can choose wherever you want it to backup. So in this case, it could be Google Drive, a network drive, or a local folder. I'm just going to say choose folder. We'll just set a password, and it's just as simple as that. It's just backing everything up as I speak, and it's just verifying it's done. It's done. It's as simple as that. So I can now restore from a backup. Everything's here. So if I deleted something and said, "Oh look, I just want to restore this," it would restore it. It is simple as that. There are other backup tools available. There are quite a fair few of them, but so I would advise you spend some time Googling, figuring out which one suits your needs, and then going from there and figuring out how to use it. And the 5th and final step that I would recommend, which I know can be a bit polarizing because it comes with some assumptions that you need to learn the world of computing, get involved in the Linux community. Now, I know when I say that, oh, look, when I say get involved in the Linux community, you immediately think, oh, I've got to go help with making changes to GitHub repositories for the Linux kernel or various other Linux variations or bits of software here. No, none of that. You don't have to do any of that at all. It's just get involved in the Linux community in some form or another. So in this case, we will go to reddit.com/r/Linux. Come here, have a look at what's going on, have a chat with people, get involved in conversations, ask questions. If being involved in the Linux community can help you massively, because if you're stuck on something and go, hey look, I have a question here, and if you post it to a Linux community that is either a broad spectrum or a dedicated community, for example, if you post a question to r/Linux, you may get directed to go, hey look, go to this subreddit, and if you go there, you'll get all the help you need. Or if you go to a dedicated website or a variations forum, so for example, if we want to go to Manjaro forum, we can go here, look, there's the forums where you can go ask questions. It's simple as easy as this. If you go here and get involved and ask questions, help other people with things that you know, then that is good, because the whole point of Linux is it's open source. We're here to help everyone in every way we can. So it's important to be involved. That's why I do this, because this helps other people. This video may have helped you in some way, shape or form. I know previous older videos of mine have, such as my wine install videos, or how to set up and install Lutris on Manjaro or Steam on Arch. These videos help people getting involved in the Linux community to help in some way, shape or form, whether it's helping in some sort of coding manner, whether it's just going to a forum and asking a question, or just helping other people out. Because if you have a question, it is a good chance that someone in the future is going to go, I have a question as well, Googles it and finds your question, which may have been answered. So you being involved in the Linux community will most likely help someone in the future with the exact same issue that you have. It's important to get involved. Anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'd like to thank you very much. I'd like to take this time to say it's 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 been a journey so far. I love where we've come, and we're nearly at 200 subscribers. It's amazing to me. I can't believe we've gotten this far. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have been Nick. You have been amazing, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.